Hey, this is Redban, and you're listening to the Death Squad Podcast Network. This episode of Muff Said and all the podcasts that we do here at Death Squad can always be found on iTunes and Stitcher under Death Squad. This weekend, May 24th and 25th, me, Sarah Tiana, and Tony Hinchcliffe will be at the La Jolla Comedy Store. That's May 24th and 25th, Friday, Saturday. Tickets are on sale right now at thecomedystore.com. Also, don't forget, we are coming to Toronto, and we're coming to San Diego, and there's a whole lot of new tour dates that are going to be popping up. Just keep your eye at deathsquad.tv. I hiccuped right when I said that, sorry. Fucking hiccups. Really?
It is so exciting to be back. I am here today with the sexiest man in video game development.
Sup?
Mr. Rick Ahrens.
That's called Clear Your Throat Sup. It's a new one I'm working on.
The new one?
Yeah.
I like that. We're also here with artist, inventor, entertainer Eric Gradman, one of the founders of 2-Bit Circus, along with a million other companies.
Beep, beep.
Nice. Beep, beep. With a glorious mohawk.
Thank you.
Not just a mohawk, a really good one.
It was glorious until I put these headphones on, and then it became a bihawk, which is about the most awkward hairstyle you can have.
I'm still digging it. You're still doing it well.
Still rocking it here.
There you go.
Side action for the camera.
So let's jump into the beer that we're drinking today because I'm excited about this beer. We're drinking my favorite style, which is a Saison. This in particular is a Belgian farmhouse ale. It's from, how am I going to say this? Saint Fuyen? Fuyen?
Spell it.
Fuyen.
F-E-U-I-L-L-I-E-N.
Fuyen. What do you guys think of this beer?
I like it a lot.
You do?
I think it's fantastic, actually.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of notes are you getting from it?
Hoppy? No. Beery?
Not hoppy. I don't think it's hoppy at all.
The thing
I don't know anything
about
about beer.
Saisons is that they're top fermented and they get most of their flavor from the yeast that they are being brewed with. Traditionally, like I've said, it's a wild yeast. They're frequently spontaneously fermented.
I actually have something to say about this beer. I think that's actually decent. There's a lingering, consistent aftertaste that I really like. That kind of sits with you for a little bit. You know, some beers and other flavors disappear pretty quickly after you finish it off, but this has like a nice lasting appeal.
See, that's a good thing to say about
Boom.
a beer.
A little
Like
bit
a
like
yeast
a wine.
infection?
A little yeasty appeal.
Speaking of yeast infection flavors, how has being touring as a comedian going, Brian Redban?
Oh, it was great. I just got back from San Francisco and Sacramento, and it was our first time up there. We had like 200 people in San Francisco and hundreds in Sacramento. It was great. Good times.
Any strip club stories?
No, because Sacramento, after much research, they don't have alcohol in any other clubs. And so I just don't like those kind of places. Like, I like where the strippers are drunk also. You know? 'Cause they usually make not.
You want the Irish bar effect,
Right.
In
I want
strip
them
club.
making
You want
worse mistakes. That's what but yes, it didn't do anything. But there was a moth problem the whole time. Like all the eggs hatched.
What?
Like I guess once a year, that's when all the moth eggs hatch. And so like everywhere you go, there's millions of
I
moths.
saw your Vine. You kicked a bush, and I couldn't figure it out at first, but you kicked a bush, and like thousands of moths came flying out.
It was disgusting.
It was
the moth
weird.
flew in my mouth.
Oh, that's the worst.
It got that little white, and I went like, the worst part is I went like that, and like, moth, and it squished. And like, and then there
Good
was
protein on that.
Yeah, there was this point where like across the street there was a car dealership, and they had these huge lights, so all the moths were really attracted to that, and underneath it was just tons of moth meat from getting hit by cars driving by.
Moth meat.
Yeah, it was just disgusting. It was just like
It's a delicacy in some places.
Yeah, right.
Can I do an impression? I have one impression, and it's every person who gets a bug in their mouth. This is what it is. Ready? That's every time. It doesn't matter if it's a gnat the size of a little needle or a fucking moth.
Mine was more like because I had like little moth juice on it, and little powder, that little white powder that when you were a kid thought made it fly for some reason because you saw Peter Pan.
If the roads are covered in moth meat, I feel like this is an opportunity for some kind of cultural festival.
Oh yeah. Well, there's that island that gets the crabs that have the crab meat on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And now the locusts every 17 years in like the DC area are about to come out. Yeah.
It's this year, right?
We're in Pasadena, and once a year there's a flower that smells like a fucking corpse. I mean, if you can get behind that, you can get behind moth meat.
Really? Is it like the period trees, whatever that smell is? Like, there's like this tree. I don't think it's called a period tree, but that's what I used to smell.
Probably not.
But it smelled just like a period. Like it smelled like dirty tampons everywhere.
There's the stink bug too. There's a bug that actually like gives off like a shitty, literally poopy pheromone.
My dog loves it.
Your dog loves the stink bugs. Loves the stink bugs.
So that's the type of show we're going to have today, folks.
Yeah, bugs and poop.
Hopefully you're going to stick
Bug
around.
meat and fecal matter. Welcome to the show.
Science.
It is all about science today. Actually, that's why Eric Gradman is here, because I've decided to take one of my mentors' advice and bring on more technical people that want to talk about nerd stuff. And
nerd stuff, eh?
Nerd stuff, eh?
Let's do this.
Are you ready?
Oh, so ready.
Do you have your robot pants on?
Always. I literally can't take them off. I tried once. I can't. They won't come off.
So Eric Gradman is an inventor, like a professional inventor. Tell me how you ended up getting that job title.
I kind of had to invent that job title for myself after a while.
I see what you did there.
I kind of unironically call myself an inventor now. After many years of working for other people, making what they told me to make, I went out on my own, and me and Brent Bushnell got together and have now started several companies where we just dream up what we want to do. And right now we're making out-of-home entertainment and games and some educational stuff and really having a good time with all the amazing tools that have come out of the maker movement.
Things that you may recognize Eric's work on is the OK Go Rube Goldberg machine.
Yes.
Which we think we have played that video on the show.
Yeah, I think we played it a while ago, but yeah.
We did play that a while
late.
That and I didn't know.
I got a video for it that no one sees, but that I am more proud of than that particular
video. The Cars video?
The Cars video.
The Cars video is really cool.
I loved working on that project.
Where did that air? Because that's a commercial.
That went into the black hole of the internet and never emerged. I think I may be one of the 10 people who ever saw that video.
It's really cool.
Oh, here we are.
Is this it?
We powered a cube of lights, a double-stack keyboard, 24 cars without batteries, and Gary Newman,
that guy was
all
a joy to
with
work
one
with.
die-hard platinum battery.
And then the payoff. How many cars is this?
24. Maybe 23. I can't remember now.
And none of this is all real. This all happened off one battery.
This all happened off of one battery. No joke.
There's 24 cars starting off one battery. That guy's got business face. That's business face and hair.
Oh, I had an up close and personal relationship with every single one of those cars. Just opening up the hoods and dismantling the fuse boxes, and on my back under every single one of them in the dust.
And these were all rental cars.
These were all rental cars.
Oh
and
my God, you gave them all back?
The funniest memory I have is of the production company going around and like unscrewing all the license plates and unscrewing all the pulling off all the rental details and hiding everything, putting that stuff in the cars. Yeah, so if you ever get a rental car, you look under the hood and you see like splices on the headphone wires.
Wow.
on the not headphone wires, on the brights and the lights wires. That was me.
Nice. So you guys literally put them all back together and gave them back to the company.
We put them all
like
back
Hertz.
together. Yeah,
Like you
totally.
literally went to Hertz. Like we need 24 cars.
Rolled them back in. I mean, it would have been fantastic if all those had been the same model of car.
Yeah.
That would have made my weekend a whole lot nicer. But no, every single one of those cars was different, and I had to do a different I had to, come up with a different solution for each car to get them to do it.
Because they're all modern cars are computer controlled, so it's not like you can literally just go straight to the horn and lights like you could back in the day.
No, it's actually really interesting about the brights, the high beams
Right.
of the cars. Never computer controlled.
Really?
Some
It's just a straight switch.
Yeah, some National Transportation Safety Board thing. They say
No,
no.
they don't want them to glitch on or something like that?
Exactly. They don't. You have to have something that isn't controlled by a computer in that car. And they chose the lights, I guess, and maybe the seat backs. I'm not sure.
That's pretty badass. That the fact that the thing that blows my mind about that is not that you guys did it, because I am always amazed by human ingenuity, but I see I'm like, damn right humans did that. That's what I see. What amazes me is one battery actually did that.
Yeah, the one
insane.
battery thing is true. Well, I'll tell you a funny story about that. That battery,
It's a car battery. It's just a regular car battery.
regular old diehard car battery, and those wires that went from that battery to all those cars, those wires are this thick. We were talking some big ass wires.
Half gauge wires.
Yeah, double-aught wires, and
Big.
They're carrying a lot.
Girth. We're talking
Got some
girth.
girth here. They're carrying a lot of current,
Yeah.
which make them into giant antennas. And I had long USB cables coming from my computer out from my computer to those cars to run all the horns, run all the lights, all that stuff. And literally, the antenna effect, the inductance that happened there, blew out USB ports on my computer. They actually began to smoke. So I destroyed
Just from being
a
near
laptop.
there.
Yeah, just from being near there.
Jeez.
Yeah, I destroyed a laptop on that gig.
Did it do anything to your cell phone, or did?
My cell phone was in my pocket.
Your
This
body
was
or your brain?
plugged in. Well, it is only after years of meditation that I can smile when watching that. That song haunted my
I'm sure.
fucking dreams for weeks. We
I'm
came
sure.
so close. We came so close not to having this working. Because I blew up that laptop, we had to go back and rebuild and just monkey it together at the last minute.
I've been there. I've worked with songs in production in the past. When you work with one song, especially editors who have to edit videos, like music videos and stuff, they don't ever listen to those songs because they literally have to repeat for days and months
Right.
and weeks. And so I feel your pain there.
Well, we had a guy out there who was, apart from Gary Newman, who was playing the song over and over again, sort of his stand-in
Yeah.
while they weren't shooting Gary Newman playing. And he had to take a break, too, because he was getting tired of playing that song.
Oh yeah, he's like, dude,
And-
I never played the song this much.
Somewhere we've got a video of this awesome piano player who was out there just rocking out, playing old jazz tunes on the cars, and just you name it. He's like, hey, I want to hear some theme songs from old video games? I could do that. He's playing all this stuff on the cars.
So the other crazy thing about this video to me when I watched this is, how did you guys tune it? How did you guys make this into a fucking piano? Because all horns obviously are different, but did you have to go and find the specific models that have a specific key, or did you guys retune
Less
the horns?
power?
Some of them were retuned, some of them were replacements. We couldn't start with the original gear in those cars.
Right.
In all cases.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to.
Did you swap back the?
Yeah, we swapped back. You don't have like a Lexus that sounds like a
A minor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those aren't out there. There's a part that's missing from this video. One thing that we didn't end up doing because we actually ran out of time, and that was we wanted to start all those cars from the piano as well.
Oh, that would have
Press
been
a
cool.
key, and so Dan Busby, his job under there was basically going in and rewiring all the starters.
Dan Busby is one of the physicists that is part of. I want to call you guys a think tank at 2-Bit Circus.
Yeah, think tank's a good way of
Yeah.
good way of doing it. We only think part of the time though.
Imagineering.
Stuff makers.
Imagineering for everybody else.
Yeah. Exactly.
But we think part of the time, but we also make a lot of the time. We spend a lot of time building stuff and testing stuff and
So you
drinking and coming up with ideas.
So you guys must have a pretty badass warehouse workspace.
We have an amazing warehouse. So I got to describe this place to you. 50-foot ceilings. This is about 6,000 square feet with
5 stories.
50-foot
5 stories.
ceilings.
And you can go to 2bitcircus.com to see some pictures of the space and see some of the
Is
stuff
this
they've
your
done.
warehouse?
This is our Oh, this what you're seeing now?
Yeah,
No, this is a place in Echo Park actually where we shot this video.
I actually know where this is.
This is
I'm very familiar with Echo Park.
This
art
is
warehouse
such
now.
a cool video, by the way. I mean,
Thank
how
you.
many takes did this take?
This was 80. I think 87 takes.
Wow.
We are
Something like
looking
that.
at the OK Go. This too shall end.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass video, which is one of the other amazing art meets science projects that Eric Gradman has worked on.
Wow, it's so great.
How much like engineering and planning went into this beyond the 80-something takes?
Well, there was certainly a lot of engineering and planning. There was also a lot of making it up on the fly. I have to admit that I had less involvement in this particular video than I think Dan Busby. Dan Busby is the guy you're going to want to talk to about this. He did so much of the engineering on this. Where you see my work in this video is some of the stuff downstairs where people are flying around. See the lead singer flying back on a little aerial traveler rig and stuff like that. I did a lot of that. But man, I can't fiddle with dominoes. My big fat hands won't do.
My favorite piece of this video is actually the umbrellas.
Oh, yeah.
It's so pretty.
So cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. I think I watched this video like maybe 20 times when it first came out, just because I was a huge fan growing up of like Mousetrap and just the
yeah.
idea of doing that kind of shit.
There was that for a while. There was a
video game.
something dominoes. There was like a Mega Dominoes, or like there was a set that you could buy that came with like hundreds of plastic dominoes to set up.
Oh,
your
and you
own.
could set up your own. Yeah.
Yeah, but it
I
was
had
like
that.
I had it too, but it was like so it was, and the commercials were amazing because they set up like thousands of dominoes at once, basically your own little Rube Goldberg domino machines. And it was I remember when I saw it on TV, I was like, as like an engineering nerdy toy for a kid, I was like I had like Kinects and I had like erector sets, and I saw a thing and I was like, motherfucker, that is the king of the shit. That is so fucking cool.
And you remember this game, The Incredible Machine?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Oh, I love this
always
game.
so much
You're like
fun.
an infinite repository of awesome videos. This is crazy. How do you do this?
This is the Brian Redban.
Amazing archive back there.
Yeah,
The
it's YouTube.
the Incredible Machine was incredible. I still want a game like that to come to mobile, like to iOS, like to play on my phone when I'm just hanging out. And people have tried, like even Rovio, the guys who did Angry Birds, have tried. Like they had Amazing Alex, which was okay, but they only had like 10 different things that you could really do. So it was kind of small scale. But I mean, I want that large scale,
I'll
just
tell you,
crazy.
talking about dominoes with phones. You guys see this video recently? People set up 10,000 iPhones, lined them up like dominoes, and then knocked them over. And then played.
Was it at Foxconn in China where there are 10,000 iPhones?
Yeah, right.
No, after years of us discarding all of our old iPhones, after we have to upgrade to the 5 and the 6 and the 7, there's plenty of them.
The
plenty of them
e-waste
out
company was just like, we'll take them.
there. Yeah, right.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, you. How do you do that, Redman?
This is why he's on top. So we got a lot of them are iPhone 5s too.
Yeah.
As an Android user, I feel like this is an appropriate use of iPhones.
I want an appliance, not a tool.
Whoa, look at this one.
Wow. The timing. This is incredible. So if you're
Oh, look,
if you're,
the phones are actually on.
Oh, it gets cooler.
if you're just listening out there, we're watching a what is this Atma Studio video?
Yeah, just
of
type in 10,000 iPhones.
10,000 iPhones. Yeah.
But that's cool how they're actually using the display.
Oh, just wait for it. Wait for it.
Wow,
The
that's
The
It's
sound
gonna
is
blow your
really
mind.
distinct.
Yeah, that terrifying sound when you've dropped your phone on the floor, it's about to bust.
right.
Hoping the Gorilla Glass will hold.
Right?
Come on.
Yeah,
Oh
This
my
is
god.
this is when it gets crazy.
No. All right.
Oh,
You gotta check this video out if you don't have video
fuck
right
did they
now.
do?
Pretty
that?
insane.
How did they do that? Are they all streaming something?
Well, I
you
figure
think?
they're all sitting on a network, and
Yeah,
there's
yes.
probably a Wi-Fi access
That's
point
a-
telling them what
right.
frame to be on, and they
Yeah.
all have the whole video loaded, and they know what sub window. Anyway, that got
Right.
too geeky real
ex-
fast.
ex-
No,
no,
that's
you
exactly-
explain it.
That's a
This
cu-
is
that's
the one
a-
place where you can explain.
I can
it.
explain it?
That's
Yeah.
a custom
yeah.
that's a custom networking job to get all of those on there and work
Yeah.
in unison without kicking each other off.
Well, here's what you do: is you
That's like a corporate level router right there.
well you take all of your phones and you load them all up with all the individual images of all the frames, and you name them for the number of the frame in the sequence. So a whole bunch of JPEGs on disk, and then you tell each iPhone its coordinate in the grid. So each one has an ID number, and so it knows what sub window of the full JPEG for the corresponding frame. It ought to be displaying at one time. And then you use a regular old router to just send broadcast UDP packets to every single device and say, all right, display frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They all know what to display. So you don't need to stream anything.
Right.
All you're doing is saying, hey, what time is it? What time is it?
Yeah.
What time is it? What time is it?
Wow, that's amazing.
Nerd out.
It's the last time I'll use the words UDP packets in this podcast. Don't worry.
Did you grow up a geek? Were you always playing with the computers and everything like that?
Yeah. Well, not computers so much. I'm doing now for a living. I call myself a professional roboticist, actually, as well. I've built a lot of robots. I'm doing now for a living what I was doing at 3 years old. I was building cardboard robots in the backyard. There's video my parents have shown me of me showing off all my cardboard robots.
There's a couple robots behind you right there. The zombie robots.
Oh
they're
my
actually
gosh.
they come with remote controls and they move around. And
Wait, those
cool.
move?
They move?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
girl's head, the exorcist girl, like her head
geez.
spins around in circles and their eyes glow, and I can control her eyes and like blink her eyes and stuff.
You know, as a point of recommendation, you shouldn't tell your guests that before you start operating them.
No, we used to actually, when I first got them, we used to have them like sitting down like right next to you, and I'm like, oh, this is my nice statue, and I would have the remote control underneath and just slowly like move the head over. And there's some classic clips I bet on YouTube of me doing that to a lot of guests. It was pretty fun.
See, I would take it like 10 steps further, and if like a friend passed out at my house from drinking too much, I would set it in front of them on my couch, make a loud noise from the wake up, and have the head spinning. I would really fucking mess with people.
That's a good idea.
You know, because I'm a nice guy.
Need to get some boys over to my house and get them drunk so I can do this.
Seriously.
So, Eric Gradman, tell me what you guys are working on right now.
Oh my gosh, we are working on such an exciting project right now.
It's very exciting. I know, because I got to wear a sparkly costume.
You got to wear a sparkly costume in our awesome video. So you got to star in our Kickstarter video. We just launched our Kickstarter, and we are building a crazy future carnival.
You know what the star of it is? Science.
Science is the star.
Science is the star.
Yeah, it's so true.
You're the co-star.
And technology, and engineering, and art, and math.
So we're building this future carnival, and the idea is the carnival hasn't changed in generations. This stuff doesn't change. These out-of-home entertainment games just don't change. And we've been building fun games, a little bit like carnival games, a little bit different, a little crazier, a little bit more high-tech. We've been doing this for years. And what we're doing now is we're reimagining the carnival with all of our high-tech games. For years, we've been building these things. We're bringing them all together now. We're going to bring them on the road. We're going to start in Los Angeles in the spring of 2014 and bring it to San Francisco shortly thereafter. And it'll be sort of a carnival like you would understand it. There'll be food, there'll be tents, there'll be contests and things like that. And then there'll be these amazing games. But we kind of have the secret agenda, right? Our secret agenda is to use these technologies and these games to inspire kids to want to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Those 5 things are so close to our hearts because we pursued those things, and look what we wound up doing with our lives. Awesome fucking stuff.
Yeah.
You're a professional inventor.
Professional inventors and roustabouts.
Did I just see some kind of virtual asteroids? What was going on?
Yes, you did.
What?
The mocap bull riding thing is crazy too.
All right, let me tell you about virtual asteroids. We just cut together a video. Oh, there it is. There it is, right there. There it is.
So awesome.
I am so happy with this. And the person who you see operating it, by the way, is the guy who invented that game.
Wow.
Nolan Bushnell, who's also Brent's dad. Brent is my co-founder in this company.
Cool.
Also, the founder of Atari.
Well,
And the founder of Atari and
Chuck E. Cheese.
I'm terrified of Chuck E. Cheese,
Oh
and I'm
my-
glad Brent isn't here, so I didn't have to admit that to his face. Because I tried to go in there one time, and the smell of pizza and sweaty children at the same.
Are you
They're
kidding
running
me?
really fast.
Chuck E. Cheese is one of the most amazing places in the whole entire. Have you not seen that documentary all about those the band? Wait, was that show? No, that was Chuck E. Cheese. No,
The
no, that was,
animatronic band.
no,
No.
that was Showbiz, right?
Oh, the Showbiz band.
Yeah. My friend bought one of those bands of those robots.
The animatronic bands, yeah.
He went through all the circuits and programming, and now has been programming his own music for it.
Oh, cool.
And he has it in his he has just a big warehouse that he works from, and he has it in the band. It's Rockefeller Explosion or something like that, I think is the name of the the robot.
I've seen
thing.
that. It's on. There's like a bunch of YouTube stuff of it.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about like musical robots? Like this is one of the things we're doing in the carnival. So we want to get kids involved. We want to get people ahead of the carnival, building their own stuff, bringing it to the carnival, showing it off for people. And so we've come up with some really creative, fun venues almost for getting kids involved. And one of them is make your own musical robot. Make your own musical robot band, and then you plug them all. You bring what you've built to the carnival. We plug them all together.
Band.
Yeah, and it becomes a giant jam band.
Wow.
We're pausing to pour beer.
We're possibly
I'm giving you the proper
really
beer.
distracted.
So you're
there we go.
So are you going to have like a robot for each person that invented it, or are you going to have ones that can be reusable?
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're producing kits, and ahead of time, schools and families and individuals are going to be able to get these kits.
Individual.
And these will be a starter kit.
like an erector set, but a little bit
yeah,
more
exactly.
advanced.
And if you have no idea what you're doing, this will be enough to enable you to create something amazing, right? And if you really know what you're doing,
You take it to the next level.
Yeah, go off on your own, make something cool. And we're going to design these kits, and we're almost going to design an API for the carnival. Like, what a weird idea is that,
That's
right?
badass.
But what you bring to the carnival, what you contribute to the carnival, will plug in seamlessly to the back end that we have. So, for example, in the musical robots, right? If you bring a musical robot and you've complied with the API, and that's not exactly what we're doing, but if you've complied with the API,
idea of it,
it's the
though.
idea,
Yeah.
right? You'll be able to plug your musical robot into our musical robot sequencing
Explain
system.
API for the less nerdy of our listeners.
Yes, indeed. API stands for Application Programmer Interface, I think. I use this word without ever expanding it in my
Yeah, I
head
think
anymore.
that's what it is.
Something like that. And the idea is it's like a common language. You know, my system
Like
needs
MIDI?
to... Yeah, MIDI is an
Sort
API.
of, but a common
Absolutely.
language tied to a specific application. So, like an API, not to jump in on your
please.
explanation, but an API the most commonly known API I would say right now on the internet would be like the Facebook API, which means if you put the Facebook API to your site, then you could log in and comment on your website using Facebook.
Right.
It allows you to use a common language of a specific application in another place.
But I want to agree with your interpretation of it more than where I was going with it. I said API, but I think I was being too specific. And what I meant to say was common language. So if you make a musical robot and I make a musical robot, they have to speak the same language. And that you brought up MIDI is excellent, because MIDI is the common language of musical instruments.
And free,
It's
like,
also-
open source, which is
Yeah.
It's
And-
also the
bananas.
oldest commonly used API, I think, still in
Yeah.
existence
Is
because
it?
people still use it. Yeah,
He made no money off of it, the inventor.
yeah.
Really?
No money off
20
of
years
it.
in
know
or
that.
something like that now, or no, 25 years
Oh,
in or
more
something
than
like
that,
that.
Way
Yeah.
more than that.
but
Early
it's
80s?
but it's still used as a default protocol in a lot of stuff. I mean, it's slowly getting phased out, but not.
Why would
I mean,
they phase something out that's been around for forever and works wonderfully?
Well, because a lot of
It
the new
doesn't-
instruments need something more sophisticated.
Yeah,
So
they need
the-
more data.
The replacement for MIDI is another protocol known as OSC. And, oh, shit. You know, I just realized something. I'm about to use the word UDP packet again in this podcast. And I said I wasn't going to do it.
Do it.
But
Do it. I dare you.
I tell you, like in computer science and in engineering, we're always building things on top of other things. You invent something that works, and you build something else on top of that thing that works. And UDP is a communication protocol that allows different systems to communicate. And OSC is this very music-centric way of using that communication protocol. It makes it possible for musical instruments to communicate over an internet or over a local net.
and musical robots to communicate.
And musical robots. So I'll tell you, a lot of the games that we've built, a lot of the things that you saw in that video, and some of the things I'll tell you about later, if you're interested,
And,
use
what's
OSC.
the URL for the people that are listening? Where can they go to learn about the Steam Circus Kickstarter?
Oh, sure. Well, we've got steamcarnival.com, and if you just type Steam Carnival Kickstarter into your favorite search engine, that will take you where you need to go.
And
We'd prefer you went there.
I also want to say that
Oh, that's us right there.
There's
There
a
we
lot.
are.
There's a lot of Kickstarters out there. It's a great new business investment economy that is basically kind of changing the way that the world perceives product creation. But I will say that you guys did a kind of above and beyond the average Kickstarter. I think you guys did a really good job. Not only the video is very polished, but even the Kickstarter page is very logically laid out and very informative to a potential backer, which is a problem that I think a lot of people on Kickstarter have is you're like, there's the idea that you're going to donate to, or the product, or whatever the Kickstarter is, but there's always the fear of, why should I give you my money before something exists?
Sure.
And I think that you guys have gone above and beyond what most people do on Kickstarter to kind of solidify why a user should actually give you guys money.
Well, we have a lot of proof. We already have a lot of proof. We've done this for years.
And they have what I like about 2-Bit Circus and the people that I met there is that you guys have a strong background in teaching children about science.
And adults, too.
And adults.
It's like, who can't get behind something like that? I mean, education is and will forever be the silver bullet in politics.
People who
in
hate
science and all of that stuff. So, I mean, I just, so big kudos on making a very attractive package for people. It's hard to give money to something that doesn't exist yet.
I feel like we're making up for many, many years of making awesome shit and poorly documenting it.
Speaking of that, can we talk about the suit that I want to wear while having the sexing?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, we can talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, so while we were
It's not a sex suit, but
it's not a sex suit,
It's
but
not a sex
it
suit.
could easily be. This is the
Not
most awkward segue we can possibly engage in here. But
Welcome to Muff Said. Home of the awkward segue.
we actually practiced our segues in the last episode, so
We were doing pretty
we're
good.
doing pretty good. So I think it's a fine segue from Muff Said, honestly.
I think so. Yeah.
okay,
It's totally solid.
I'm sorry for pointing it out. So we were talking a little bit ago about the incredibly geeky outfit that I was wearing when I met my girlfriend, and several years ago, 4 years ago or so, I was presenting at a conference, and I brought a thing with me that I'd made, and it was a biometric suit. So I was wearing every biosensor I could get my hands on. I was wearing them all on my body.
That's all like available to basically a citizen.
It was all available over the internet, but
Yeah.
I wired them all together and I connected them to a network connection, so they were talking to my computer.
With
And then-
UDP packets?
Oh, yeah, there was UDP packets involved. Yeah, it's so sad now.
Just wanted to say
It's
it.
just-
Hashtag UDP.
Hashtag UDP packet.
Yeah, I brought it there again. I connected my body to the venue, and so when my heart beat, the lights would flash red, and when I turned in the direction in which I was turning, the lights would go up in that direction. Oh my goodness. And the drunker I got, and I got drunk, the more the smoke machine would go.
So
Wow.
set the stage real quick for this. You said you were at a conference.
Yeah.
And you're basically controlling the atmosphere of the conference with your body.
With my body.
So
Unconsciously controlling the
So
atmosphere.
explain, like, what was the conference setting? Was it like a theater?
It was an art
or-
gallery. We were in an art gallery.
Okay.
This was a mindshare event in Los Angeles. So probably about 200 people all had to deal with being inside my body that night. And it was weird. Every time I would take a step, I had a big subwoofer that would impulse the ground. And I had an EEG, and the music was
based off your brainwaves.
based off my brainwaves in some, unintelligible way. But I'd been doing all sorts of art, and I decided that night would be a good night to make art that was just all about me.
So it's not even, we talked
I
about
want
like,
this for my birthday.
we've talked about like interactive art and all that kind of stuff, but this is passive active art almost in a way. Which is, it's kind of a contradictory term, but because it's happening live, but it's unconsciously controlled by what's happening with your body, it's passive because you don't really have control over it, but it's active because it's happening live. Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. I don't think things like that have really ever been done before.
Environments. A lot of the interactive art that both me and Brent have done are all about instrumenting environments to be more interesting. And as opposed to having a phone that you have to pull out of your pocket and play a game on, if the entire world around you is interactive in ways that you might not even be aware of, then you wind up with a more passive experience, but one that's really enriching.
Right.
And I had all sorts of geeky sensors strapped to my body. Oh my God! You actually found video of this.
Brian Redban is the king of this.
This is incredible. This is a perfect example of me having failed to document my project in any reasonable way. By the way, I don't think I mentioned the name of this. This was called the Narciss System.
The Narciss System?
Because it was narcissism at its absolute finest. I'm sure I didn't have to explain that joke, but I did it anyway.
So I'm curious to know about...
Which is exactly why I want to play in this suit.
Everything kind of makes sense.
I have a birthday. It's in like 2 months. Everyone will live off of my body for an entire night.
It's just gonna be.
And then I'm gonna have the sexing.
And then the sexing.
Well,
in a back room while everyone else is like in the room paying attention to the sound.
Yeah, there were a lot of zip ties involved. I think it would really chafe.
The most curious part about this. The most curious part about this to me is the your brain and the music. Was it random notes generated by your brain, or was it pre-selected music that was changing based off of what you were thinking?
Yeah, so I was using a very primitive EEG. It didn't have a lot of resolution. It had neither accuracy nor precision.
It was basically like a heat sensor almost.
Well, it was more what's called an EMG, an electromusculogram. Someone, please go ahead and correct me, Internet. It was.
They will.
Yeah. It wasn't great data, but I worked with what I had. And hey, look, that music was electronic shit. Like it was no good. It was computational music. I was generating it myself.
Okay.
I hate techno.
Yeah. Oh, you think you hate techno? What about when it comes out of my brain?
Brain toe.
That's worse.
Side note, for those of you that don't follow my Twitter, which you should, at Ryan Keely, I have finally thwarted my techno neighbor who's been waking me up every morning between 8:30 and like 9:15. Techno goes off for like 7 minutes. So by the time I bolt upright and find pants and like get out to the hallway, it stopped. I'm like, where is this coming from?
I had a neighbor who used to play his Infernal Majesty hymn, which is like this weird like European Gothic like just weird I don't know like orchestrated Gothic metal band under me in my apartment at the loudest possible setting of his stereo for hours at a time while he got super high and just passed out. That is, I promise, is much worse than techno neighbor.
I had basketball neighbor for a while. I had basketball neighbor. And you know what else he listened to? He listened to like 1950s. Bop, 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 like, oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. So, you know, I had a great sound system. And so I cranked up polka as loud as I possibly could because I have unusual music tastes. And I didn't mind listening to polka.
It's your background as a clown.
It is my background as a clown.
Whistler.
Oh, yeah. You went there.
I did go there.
Yeah.
You put it on the internet.
I did put it on the internet.
Whistle
I don't know.
for me, monkey.
What do you want to hear? Give me a request.
Stairway to Heaven.
I'll give you an easier
I'm sorry,
one.
that is the lamest request ever. I'm denying that one on just the basis of it sucking. Okay.
I feel like a free domain Yankee Doodle Dandy should be easy.
It's gross.
What about...
What if I did some Stevie for you?
Yeah.
Would that be better?
What's up?
Stevie Nicks, right?
Yes. Stevie Nicks. Yeah. Okay. I have done this on a microphone before. I'll try not to kill all of you. All right. Anyway, you get
Wow.
So
I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a little story about that. There is, it may surprise you to learn, a contest for everything in the world.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, no,
There's an air guitar contest.
I
There's
saw
an air
a
guitar
guy
contest.
on the internet that whistled Georgia, and when I was reading about him, he has such a sweet mullet.
Mullet before whistling.
When I was reading about him, that there's like 3 distinct styles that people whistle with, professional whistlers.
Oh?
Yeah.
Is it
I believe
in,
you.
out, and tongue? I'm
No,
seriously guessing.
There's palate whistlers. There's whistlers who don't even use their lips. There's something to say. I don't even know
It's
how
like
it works.
it's a combination of like teeth, tongue, and bottom lip. or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
really weird. I saw
You know who
a
those
really
guys
good
are?
guy.
Those are the guys that go to like baseball games and whistle so loud, even 100 feet away, your fucking ears hurt. Every dad of my friends growing up playing soccer and t-ball were that guy. Yeah. They had that fucking sport whistle. I was like, let's go, whistle. I'm like, oh my God, how do you do that?
Well, so palate whistlers, when they whistle, they look like this.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy. They drink beer and eat brats,
No,
too.
but let me tell you, one of the winners, the grand prize winners of the World Whistling Competition.
Oh my
Put that in
God!
your brain
Please
for a
tell me
second.
that's held in like Geneva, Switzerland.
Put that in your brain for a second. Was a whistler who uses that style, and we just watched him. And you notice I just said we there because I have been to the World Whistling Competition held in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina.
Did you place?
I placed 7th in the world.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Talking about championship whistler here, motherfuckers.
Championship whistler. And I mentioned my girlfriend, who I met the night I was wearing that horrible biometric suit. My long-suffering girlfriend, Jen, who shortly after I began dating her, I told her, "Hey, baby, I'm going to the World Whistling Competition." And she didn't break up with me.
Nice.
She's a keeper.
Nice. And you placed 7th.
And I placed 7th. I think if I hadn't placed...
You're literally top 10 in the world.
Yeah, totally. Well, there have been many since then. I mean, that was 5 or 6 years
At
ago.
one point, you were top 10 in the world.
At one point, I was top
That
10 in the
counts
world.
for enough for me.
And I'd
That's
like to
amazing.
feel as though I'm getting better. I'm getting better year on year. So maybe I'm like top
So, like,
8.
when I whistle in the shower, or more accurately, beatbox. But let's just say I whistle in the shower. I beatbox. I'm pretty good at beatboxing. But when I whistle in the shower, and you whistle in the shower,
Yeah.
like if you were my neighbor,
Yeah.
I would start whistling, and then if you started showering around the same time and you started whistling, I would just feel bad about myself.
Now you'd run out in a towel and start banging on my door. Shut the fuck up!
Because you're literally whistling like some classic Cream, Eric Clapton, and I'm whistling like
No, he
3
shut down
notes.
My Stairway to Heaven, so clearly he's not doing Cream
Yeah.
either. What about, can you do some Ween?
No.
Damn it!
I can do anything you can hum, but I don't... Can you hum Ween?
I can't hum anything.
Yeah, good luck humming Ween.
By the way, I'm totally culturally impaired, so I'm likely to miss any contemporary musical reference. I got Stevie.
Ween is not contemporary. They're my favorite country music act.
Ween was country. Oh, because the country album.
Yeah, 12
Yeah.
golden country greats with
Yeah.
10 albums with 10 songs in it.
Piss up a rope.
Oh, a little coda to this this World Whistling Competition story. I got a stalker.
What?
Nice.
Whistling
no
stalker?
joke.
Whistling fan?
No joke. I live in Los Angeles.
Like
I'm
whistle
a-
fan?
Yeah. No,
man.
no, not a whistle fan. Like much creepier than that. Immediately after that competition, in the notes of which they gave everybody's home telephone number, right?
What?
There was like a glossary.
There's a glossary
names
of all the
That's the
people
worst
in
thing
case you
ever.
wanted to like call them up and whistle to them over the phone. I don't fuck if I know, right? And then immediately after that competition, I started getting, this woman calling me up. You're such a beautiful boy. I'm like,
Are you not a woman?
I need
Yeah.
an adult.
I was thinking that you were going to say, like, no, it's this guy who has this trench coat and he just walks down these alleys whistling. Like those movies where they always have like the creepy guy walking behind you.
Or
that
Mac
starts
and Me, the
whistling.
movie where the aliens
It's not
whistle.
okay. That's not like a creepy movie. Like, as a woman that lives downtown, let me tell you,
Oh, that
street
happens.
harassment is part of my daily life.
Well, that's not wheezing. That's probably just like, or that's wheezing, not whistling.
wheezing,
right?
that's people stumbling out of the clinic. They're going back to,
Must have crack.
Do you
Yeah, no,
have a
but-
sandwich?
that's where the story stops being a whistling story and just becomes a creepy stalker
Yeah,
story.
what did
'Cause
you
this went
do?
on- nothing. This went on for years.
Oh my god! You should
Went
have
on for
recorded all the
years.
phone calls.
No, and when she'd
Would
call
you
me, I just
whistle a tune for me?
yeah, no, it wasn't even like that.
Was she a whistler?
I have no idea. She was a stalker. I hung up on her every time.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd hand the phone to my parents. Like, hey, you guys talk to her.
Wow.
That went over well. That put her off the trail for about a year.
How do your parents feel about your unique life path?
They are very proud of me. Yes.
How many years
Yes.
did it take for them to get proud of
No,
you?
my parents have been very supportive of my weird path in life. The first time I dyed my hair bright red and shaved a mohawk, I admit they were probably less than pleased. But when I got a master's degree and started several companies, they said, "Okay, all right,
See,
fine."
I kind of had the opposite. I had the parents who would be like, "Hey, do you want to go get your ear pierced?" When I was in 2nd grade, and offer like, "Hey, do you want to get karate lessons?" Like they'd offer me that stuff, but I didn't get the master's degree. And like, you should probably go back to school.
Yeah.
I was like, "But you wanted me to cut my hair and fucking dye it and get a mohawk." Like they wanted me to get the mohawk. But then, like, I didn't get the masters, and so we have very opposite parental
see.
units.
Yeah, This was kind of like the mohawk was like collateral damage of
It's not
getting
damage.
Yeah, well,
It's collateral badass.
man, collateral badassness. That's right.
Literally, would you ever like mess with somebody with a mohawk just out of principle?
Well,
Probably not.
My biggest regret in life is that I used to shave my head and fairly frequently, and I would like shave it, and then I'd grow it out, and I'd dye it like bright blonde, and then it'd be like pink and blue and whatever. And in that time, I never shaved a mohawk, and now
you've never had a mohawk?
I just feel a little too old. And I was like, how did I go straight
you
from
do
like
that?
long ass hair to bald as fuck, like
You had to
monkey
have
head?
a mohawk.
And I never
once.
did a mohawk. I did do a mullet briefly, which was hilarious.
At least when I had a full beard and I decided to go, bare chinned, I went through every possible beard
Oh, I did that too. Oh my god, I did that too, and I posted that on the internet, and I've never had I'll post this is my deep thought about this. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
I post a picture of myself with 20 different kinds of goatees, and oh my god, it's the best thing in the world. Yeah, I've been there. I've also had a few mohawks in my life. The mohawk is good. I think you have a nice head shape for a mohawk.
You're so sweet.
When I get my hair short enough, it starts to show the flaws in the shape of my head, which is they're deep flaws.
Now,
Let's just
we've
be
been
honest.
staring at one another head on across the table.
Yeah.
I haven't actually turned sideways to you
Yeah.
yet, so it might just be horrific.
No. I dig the
Brian's
mohawk.
over there
I dig
laughing.
it.
He's like, yeah, fuck from over here.
Did you guys see Iron Man? Did you?
Yes.
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 Oh my god, I'm the only one I didn't see.
You didn't see Iron Man? You were invited to a special screening of
I
Iron
know.
Man, and you wouldn't take me as your date, and now you didn't go to see Iron Man.
No, I ended up not going.
So much yelling! Yelling!
I know. So, out of all 3 Iron Man movies, was it the best one, or is it?
The first one's still the best one
Yeah.
in my
I
opinion.
celebrate the entire catalog.
It was a pretty good follow up to the Avengers. The problem is the Avengers set such high stakes.
Yeah.
That in Iron Man, you're like, I guess, but he's not really fighting aliens anymore. But you know what I mean? The stakes weren't as high. But it was a decent movie. I mean, it's only Shane Black's second movie ever. He did Kiss Kiss
was
Bang
that?
Bang. He's the director.
He
He's
wrote
directed Kiss
Lethal
Kiss.
Weapon.
Yeah, he's written everything.
thing.
But he's directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and Iron Man 3. That's it.
Didn't John Favreau?
So
He did the first
apparently,
two.
what I understand, what happened is Robert Downey Jr. and
Favreau?
Shane Black did Kiss Kiss Bang
Mm-hmm.
Bang together, and Robert Downey Jr. was like, so Shane Black's directing the next movie. So that's happening.
Well, Favreau had already stated after the second one that he was kind of done.
Yeah.
He'll be involved, but he didn't want to direct. And and I understand that. The problem with these big epics, and which is is that these people work on these things for years and years and years. So if you're going to commit, hey, I'm going to do 20 of these movies, that's your career. You don't get to do anything else. So and even Robert Downey Jr. has stated
He's done.
he has a lot of fatigue and he's kind of done with it. Whereas it's funny with Don Cheadle, he's been yeah, let's do a War Machine movie. He's actively trying to get the internet to be let's see more Don Cheadle. Which is
Well,
kind
I
of
think
great.
secondary characters are like that. I mean, Tom Hiddleston also has been very...
Well, but it's kind of funny to me that Don Cheadle needs that kind of recognition because, I mean, in terms of accomplished acting, that
Yeah.
dude has been in some insanely good movies.
Yeah, but this is
crushes it.
retirement. money.
Hotel Rwanda alone, I mean, you've solidified it. You're a fucking badass actor.
Okay, so my problem with Iron Man 3, and I want to talk to actually my my favorite tech nerd, Robot Pants.
It's all right. I don't have a mohawk. I'm not.
I'm my new favorite tech nerd. So my problem. Spoiler alert! By the way,
Spoiler alert.
That's
Warning.
too early.
Warning.
To do
too
that.
early. God damn it!
The movie just came out 4 days ago.
Spoiler alert.
I
How was
wanna talk
how was
about
the
the
3D?
third act.
Did you see the 3D?
3D was pretty
I
good.
did. I liked it.
3D was pretty
Was
good.
it filmed in 3D or converted? Did you know?
I think it was made for
Oh, it
3D.
had to
Yeah.
be made in 3D.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
I have a policy in 3D movies. I spend most of the movie with the glasses off, and I just deal with the out of focus
Really?
business. Yeah. And then if something cool's gonna happen,
Why?
like a building being blown up or a robot punching another robot,
Then you're in.
yeah, I'm in. I'll put the glasses on, but most of the time I'm just sitting back. I don't want
Doesn't that fuck with your eyes though? Looking at it all kind of
It's
blurry.
just out of focus. I mean, if you didn't have your glasses on, it'd be the same way. Or normal, like prescription glasses. I don't
I-
wear prescription glasses, but
It's funny. I think 3D's at that place right now where some people get it and some people don't. I think Iron Man, they did a good job. But there's a lot of movies that are in 3D. Like the first Thor movie in 3D was just terrible. It looked like crap. But
they just put the hammer in 3D. That was it.
exactly, it was
Hammer.
just that. It was
Hammer.
weird. Yeah, it was super weird. But
It's people-
Life of Pi in 3D was one of the most visually stunning things I've ever seen.
We had this conversation a couple
that.
episodes
Yeah.
with our Kid Infinity.
Yeah,
Kid Infinity guests.
the 3D,
That
basically the
some
experts.
people know how to film for 3D and some people don't, and so people are still learning how to film in 3D. And actually, I remember I was interviewing. Was it Paul W.S. Anderson that did
He did like Resident Evil.
Yeah,
and
so I was interviewing him. God, this must have been like 4 years ago when the last one came out, and he said that 3D was so new, and he was filming that movie in 3D, and they didn't
actually,
quite...
real quick, Resident Evil was one of the third or fourth movies actually being like natively filmed in 3D or something like that. Yeah.
And there was all these scenes where basically people had to punch his wife Mila Jovovich because they the way the technology works is that you can't really fake things with depth of field like you can with standard 2D cameras.
You'll see the miss. You'll see the fist clearly.
Yeah.
Like with the depth, you'll see the fist like miss the face, and you're like, nope. We got the stunt work just took on a whole new
stunt
meaning.
work. Yeah, all the stunt.
Get ready
all
to
the
get
stunt
punched
guys
for
are,
reals.
Yeah, well, they're getting more work now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot more.
Higher respect for all of my ECW wrestlers from back in the day.
ECW. Wow, nice.
East Coast Wrestling.
It was Eastern Conference Wrestling, I think, and then it changed
there was
to
ECW.
No, because it was Eastern something, and then it changed to Extreme Championship Wrestling, and then it got bought out.
I'm one of the most wrestling stupid people you'll ever meet. I know Sting was a guy.
I've been watching a lot of wrestling
That's
videos
about
on the
it.
internet
Sting was a
this
wrestler?
week.
Sting, not that Sting. He did tantric wrestling, singing about a rose in the desert. Yeah, it was post police stuff.
I just got grossed out.
Tantric wrestling grossed you out. That's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
Too much ECW.
There's never enough ECW. But no, let's talk about something else. What are you reading right now, Eric Gradman?
Oh my gosh, always a sci-fi book.
Oh my God!
I
Yes.
got like a stack of sci-fi books. Actually, I have one Kindle, so I never actually know what I'm reading because it doesn't tell me what I'm reading.
First time we met, we had this conversation about how you got rid of all of your books and replaced it with a photograph.
Oh yeah. No, I'll tell you the story. This is good. I used to, I had so many sci-fi books, and they were all trade paperbacks, and they were all on this gigantic IKEA sagging bookshelf. And when I went to move, I'm like, I got to get rid of this stuff. I got to give it all away. So I gave away all my books. But before I did, I photographed all the bindings. I lined them all up on a table and photographed them from the side, and then cropped those photos and resized them to 1024 by 768, and went out and bought one of those digital photo albums. And now on my new bookshelf
It's the digital photo album.
the digital photo album with all my old books.
That's awesome.
They're
That's
still there
So
because
there's-
I live in fear of buying a book I've already read.
I should have done that when I sold 500 Xbox 360 games. I should have done that same fucking thing. That's brilliant. What are you reading right now, sci-fi wise?
Okay, I'm reading a great book literally right now called The Rise of Ransom City, and it's the sequel to another book called The Half-Made World by Felix. Can't remember his last name. I'm sorry.
Google exists.
Yeah, Google it. Look it up. It's great. It's a great book, and it's about this. It's sci-fi. Yeah, it's
Alt
like
future,
fantasy. No,
yeah,
it's
fantasy.
not future. It's You know what? I read a lot of sci-fi, but I like sci-fi that's actually about people.
Listen, this is not a show. You have to be shy about that because I can share that I just plowed through Old Man's War by John Scalzi.
Oh, everything by John Scalzi.
Oh my God! I've never read a book so fast in my life.
yeah.
I was hooked.
Well, you just read the first one?
I'm already reading the second one.
You
I
know
literally
you
just
have.
finished it like yesterday.
Are you reading it on a Kindle?
Yeah. You know why? Because on my lunch break, I can literally pull out my phone and keep reading, and then go home and read on a different tablet, and then go home and read on a different tablet. It's great.
I do all my reading on my Android phone.
Yeah. So, by the way, Old Man's War. If you haven't read it, here's the first line of the book. It's first person narrative by the main character, and it says, "On my 75th birthday, I did two things. I visited my wife's grave, and I joined the army." And it's so good. It's such a fucking good book.
The whole series.
It's like a new updated Starship Troopers is the best way to put it. It's fantastic. What about you, Ryan Keely? What are you reading?
What am I reading? I'm back reading Patrick O'Brian, as is frequent to happen in my life. I love Patrick O'Brian. If you love the English language, you have to read him. His prose is spectacular. Anyone that consistently gets said that they are the best historical novels ever written, period, or the best novels ever written, period, by the London Times, the New York Times, they are that good. And there's 22 of them. So you have like 2 decades of not having a series run out on you. But while I am reading that right now, I do want to talk about, so you guys know that I read Foundation and Hyperion back to back, which was a very poor life choice.
It's rough.
How is that a poor life choice?
Because those universes are so vast. It's two
Yeah.
very
That's
big
true.
universes.
That's true.
And both of those books are both told by multiple characters.
Multiple styles. Yep.
with frequent massive time jumps.
Yep.
So it was a lot for my brain. And so to come down off of that, I read Joust by Mercedes Lackey, who is one of my favorite fantasy writers. Super light. There's dragons.
I'm looking at the next one. Sorry. I'm jumping ahead.
And you're jumping ahead. Oh, you would like this. You would.
Yeah.
You're totally going to like this. And then I read a book that it was read to me when I was a child, so it was very, very familiar, but it didn't have the familiarity.
I literally haven't seen any or heard any of these words or images in so fucking long.
So I read Roald Dahl's Danny, Champion of the World.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Which
my favorite was The Witches.
oh, so good.
I love The Witches.
So good. Danny Champion of the World also has a cameo by the BFG. If you are a fan of Roald Dahl, this is one of his lesser-known books. It's a very light read. There are pictures, so it's...
By the way, a lot of you are probably fans of Roald Dahl and you don't even remember it. Like growing up, like the amount of like just like library time, just seeing this author's name. I mean, like this is like a wave of... Literally, I'm just being hit by a wave of memories right now. This is
How
fantastic.
about Phantom Tollbooth?
I didn't read that.
Oh, you got to fix that. It's never too late.
Yeah.
Never too late.
I have a copy.
Okay.
I would loan it to you, but you don't read real books. See,
I will read a real book. It's
tangible?
A tangible book, yes.
You're comfortable. You're ready to go
how
there.
many trade paperbacks have I read? Like a bazillion.
Recently, though.
Oh, I have a stack like
You have
this
a stack?
big.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I
have none.
I
I'm
crushed
zero.
through Transmetropolitan. I did Batman Year One. I did Dark Knight Returns. So
Not yet.
I will do it.
In the next couple months, we need to have a very Frank Miller conversation. It's coming.
We need to start a Muff Said book club. Seriously, we need to start
you
the
go.
Muff Said book club and make it happen.
Ooh, can I throw in 2 more recommendations?
Yes.
Yes.
One of the best books I read in the last year. 2 of the best books I read in the last year. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore.
Okay.
No one's heard of this book. It's fucking fantastic.
About a bookstore.
It's about a bookstore, and that's all I will tell you. It is one of the best pieces of modern fiction you will ever read.
Wow.
So good. So
Wow.
good. Google it. I'm not going to bastardize it by trying to describe it. And also The Mirage by Matt Ruff. Matt Ruff is just a surreal author, totally surreal author, and everything he's written has just blown my mind in a weird way.
How do you spell rough?
R-U-F-F, the way it's spelled.
The way it should be. The damn way it should be.
It's sometimes spelled with a U and
No,
a GH.
I know, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. It should be always spelled R-U-F-F.
Just like laser should be spelled with a Z.
Z-O-Rs.
Yes, lasers.
Lasers.
So I also just read, I forgot about this, How to Get Filthy Rich in Rising Asia, which was also beautifully written, but not nerdy at all.
I did. You know what I did finish?
What?
And I'm waiting for the next series. I finally finished the sequel to the Wool series that I always talk about.
I just got Wool as soon as because it finally came out in paperback because I wasn't reading it because it was only, I'm not allowed to have tablets.
That guy was, this guy, Hugh Howey, actually got famous off of digital publishing.
And millions and millions of dollars. That guy made so much money off of
and
that.
now I just finished Shift, the second series, the sequel, the prequel series to Wool. I mean, I loved Old Man's War. I loved Hyperion, but in terms of within the last 10 years, science fiction universes built, this guy has got it. Like he nailed it.
I just had an epiphany. There is one author that applies to both of you perfectly, and that's Austin Grossman.
Austin Grossman,
who wrote Soon I Will Be Invincible, which is about superheroes and supervillains gone bad.
Nice.
And his most recent book is called You, which is about video game development and this guy's strange odyssey through video game development and how he sort of becomes a part of his own game. They're both.
Have you read Ready Player One yet?
I have read Ready Player One.
Nice.
That was a very
okay,
good book.
Great. I just
really
wanted to make
liked
sure.
that.
Just wanted to make sure.
If you liked that book, you will love the one I just mentioned.
I love that
You
book.
by Austin Grossman. Just
Great.
came out like last week.
I'm
plowed
into it.
through it.
Super quickly, what do you guys think of this beer? Where are we going to rank this on a scale of 1 to 5?
I really like this. I'm going to give this a 5.
You're going to give this a 5?
Yeah, this is the first 5 I've given on Muff Said, by the way.
It's true. Eric Gradman?
Yeah, I'll give this a. I listened to your last podcast. You guys are totally against halves.
Yes.
Yeah.
For now.
If
I'll give it a 4.
if it's a half, then it's a 10
I don't
system.
drink a lot of beer. I tend to eat paleo and avoid carbs and stuff, so beer's mostly out. But this is good. This is good shit. I like it.
All right.
I'm happy.
The Belgian farmhouse ale Saison from Saint Fuyun.
That could have been Welsh, actually.
Fubugods. By the way, tweet me out there.
Fuelin'.
If you know the reference of when I say Fubugods, tell me on Twitter, and I will give you some kind of prize.
I want a prize. How come
I can't reveal it on the air because I want people because this is a hardcore
Because you would
nerdy
all be disappointed.
hardcore nerdy internet joke. This is like early adopter shit.
Do it again because I forgot it.
Fubugods. It's not
Yeah.
a real word.
You've lost me.
Got
I want to be
nothing.
nerdier than I am, and I try so hard. And the thing about being a nerd is that no matter how hard you try, there's always so much more out
You
there.
really want to start fresh? You got to watch Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I
all
have
the
been
way
watching
through.
Star Trek: The Next Generation, by the way.
Good.
That has been happening
Well,
up in my business.
There's a video making the rounds just today of Riker and how he sits on chairs where he puts his leg over every chair. It's fantastic.
Speaking of
Imagine
things,
one director was telling him to do that over
Yeah,
and over again.
This
It
is
wasn't
Riker's.
him.
This is Riker's chair move. Well, him because he directed a lot of that.
Oh,
stuff.
did he
So,
really?
yeah, he's directed a lot of those episodes. So he's probably like, you know what? I've decided that Riker does this leg thing, and he whips his leg over the top of a chair and then sits down on it like a fucking badass.
well, I'm only on season 2, so I'm gonna have to start to keep an eye out for that. But speaking of things that you can watch on Netflix, I saw a spectacular independent film that was so good. It's like Olivia Wilde is a stripper named Tokyo Rose.
Oh my god! You just literally.
Did I break the internet?
You broke my brain.
Jennifer Garner, Rob Corddry. It's called Butter.
Corddry.
Can we possibly see the trailer, Mr. Brian Redban?
Then go.
I'm waiting for this commercial there.
No. You can skip it in 4
But
seconds.
I was randomly watching this. I've got this. I'm doing some stuff for my friend's company.
I believe in America. I believe we are the best. I have spent my life working hard, trying to do the right thing. I just hope when you vote, you remember that.
This is the story
I'd like to
of.
remind you what this contest is about. It is about excellence in butter. God bless America.
Welcome to the Steak Mastery in Butter competition.
I grew up in this, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Butter. You're a legend.
Back in 94, Bob reveals Schindler's List.
It just made me cry. And we're not even Jewish.
I really think Bob and I could parlay this fame we have from butter into politics. I mean, don't be surprised if you see us in the governor's mansion or the White House. This will be your bedroom.
You know how you guys asked if I needed anything? Mm-hmm. You don't have butter.
I'll get you some.
Okay, I'm gonna need like 200 pounds.
Tokyo Rose, I think I love you.
My real name's Brooke.
Oh my God.
You came in between me and my man. Bob is my husband. I plan on proudly bearing his children. So, I get pregnant like once a month. When they see what I have planned for them, these so-called judges, their jaws are gonna hit the floor.
Oh my God. Have you had your boobs done?
Have you worked with butter before?
Star-studded cast here.
What's the worst thing that could happen if you enter this contest?
There could be a python inside.
What if this place is full of good-looking British vampires?
Or racist ninjas.
I present to you The Scarlet Letter. For those of you who don't know, it's a movie starring Demi Moore.
Put it on bread.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I think that might be Harriet Tubman. And she obviously decided to play the race car. You can do this. You can take down Laura Pickler. You kick her pasty white ass.
I don't think I want you hanging out with strippers, okay?
Butter is the greatest gift in life. Butter, all you need.
Alicia Silverstone.
Alicia Silverstone
Wow.
and Ashley Greene and Olivia Wilde make out. So.
Oh my God, I'm a big Olivia Wilde fan. you know, real quick. Considering our last conversation, there's probably another trailer we need to watch.
Wolverine.
Ender's Game.
What?
It's on the list.
No.
And Ender's
Really?
Game trailer
Yes,
came out
did you
this
put it
week.
on the list?
Are you kidding
It's on the
me?
list.
Well, I've seen the pre stuff. I've seen it with fucking crazy Han Solo pants.
Actually,
Yeah.
It's a surprise to me.
No, the
this is
trailer
even a
came out
thing.
like
What?
yesterday.
You didn't know the Ender Games? was gonna
I'm
be turned into a
culturally
movie?
impaired. I'm like 6 seasons behind on fucking YouTube. Give me a break, all right?
Fucking YouTube is a show.
This
Yeah, totally.
it is. It's not on YouTube because they don't allow that. but-
Here's the trailer. Maybe.
They know our strategies. They've learned our weaknesses. And the alien attack nearly destroyed us. That must never be allowed to happen again. If If we're going to survive, we need a new kind of soldier. One who doesn't think the way we think. Fear the things we fear. One the enemy would never expect.
We need minds like yours, Ender. You'll be the finest commander we've ever trained.
So I'm not the first?
No. But you will be the last.
I'll do everything I can to win this war. You really don't see them as children, do you?
If you succeed, you will be remembered as a hero.
Now!
Why are you shaking your head, Eric Gradman?
I'm shaking my head because that trailer was all special effects.
It
and
is.
It makes me sad. Because if that movie is all special effects and it's not Ender's Game,
I don't think that'll be the case because of the character progression of the story. But if you actually look at the imagery that they're showing, like the battle room, it looks exactly how I thought it was going to look in my mind. With all the triangles and all the shit, the way they described it, I was literally like, oh my God, they fucking nailed it.
If Ender's Game makes a good movie, I think Speaker for the Dead will make an excellent Broadway musical.
Harrison Ford's voice
funny.
was sounding weird, man.
He's so old, it's so crazy, though.
I'm also torn because I don't really want to give Orson Scott Card any more money. But
Why don't you want to give Orson Scott Card any more money?
He's a bad person. He's a really bad person. You should look it up. He's not a good person.
Well,
There's Roald Dahl, by the way.
Is he as bad as Orson Scott
Well,
Card?
he was. I was warned against
so
buying
was
Roald Dahl
Gandhi.
books.
Gandhi killed his wife.
No, Orson Scott Card is like a horrible...
He did. No, Gandhi killed his wife. So, like, his wife got sick with malaria or something like that. And he was like, no, you can't take antibiotics because penicillin had just come out. He's like, we're going to pray and you'll be healed by religion. And she died. And when he got sick with the exact same disease, not much later, he ended up taking penicillin.
Oh, yeah, you should look Orson Scott Card up. He's a lot worse than that. He's just the shit that he said is horrible. He's like the chairman of the, like... Only a man and a woman can be a real family, like hardcore, extremely like the crazy conservative side of like non-freedoms, basically.
That's the problem with Genius, is that it's usually coupled with like crazy, like so much. Crazy.
I mean, like when that trailer came out, I was surfing the web, surfing the Twitters and stuff like that, and everyone was like, "I'm so torn because Orson Scott Card's a piece of shit, but this looks awesome."
Was it the fourth or the fifth book that was just a pandering piece of pap?
I actually stopped reading because
I
stopped after one because I was afraid of just ruining that experience.
I read either 4 or 5 of them.
Like Wiggins' story and shit like that.
I got beat up a lot in junior high. Okay.
Shit, the Spice. Well, I'm blanking on the name. It was the Spice.
The Spice? Dune.
Dune. Thank you.
Oh,
I stopped
Dune,
after
yeah.
one. I couldn't do. I heard it. I heard it just went.
See, I just saw the movie, and nothing is going to be more awesome or more amazing or more beautiful than that Dune movie.
Muad'Dib. It's sad. Usually this doesn't happen.
Speaking
but
of Sting and
the Dune remake the Dune remake that Sci-Fi made is actually better than the original.
There's a Dune reboot.
Yeah, and they rebooted it about 15 years ago. It's actually much better.
This is brilliant. This whole reboot phenomenon. Like they realize that sequels always fail, so it's better to just keep making the same episode over and over
I think
again.
this is pre-reboot phenomenon because it was done by the Sci-Fi Channel as a TV movie, but like they had like Frank Hurt in it, and then they had a pretty good like cast, and it's just the biggest complaint a lot of people had about the Dune movie is that it's like kind of schizophrenic and weird, like unnecessarily weird compared to the story.
Let's see, who directed it again? Was it Lynch?
Yeah, it was Lynch.
Yeah.
Was it
Okay.
really?
So it was directed by David Lynch. It's got
Last thing by David Lynch I understood.
It's got David Lynch. It's got Sting. The whole thing is bananas, and that's what I think is so perfect about the Dune movie. It's an art piece.
Yeah, totally. But as the science fiction story, I'd actually highly recommend the remake over the original. Having seen both many times, actually.
Are they going to make a movie out of Hyperion?
Bradley Cooper is trying to do it.
He's trying really hard.
I had the most amazing dream last week, and it was Bradley Cooper was my boyfriend, and in the morning.
Tell me more.
It was a really good dream. Bradley Cooper was my boyfriend, and in the morning we took ninja classes. In the afternoon we read books, and in the evening we made love.
Wow.
It was an amazing
Tell
dream.
me more about
the ninja classes. Which is something I wouldn't be surprised if you were taking currently.
Well, actually, it's hard to find ninjutsu teachers down here.
It's because they're all hard to find.
Exactly. If you can find them, then you're worthy. Clearly, you're not worthy yet. You need to keep finding.
We're not worthy. Actually, when I IMDb'd Dune, they came up with another one of my favorite movies. It's called Returner. It's a Hong Kong sci-fi action flick. You may not have heard of it. It's from 2002. It stars my dream man, Takeshi Kaneshiro. Absolutely 100% go check it out. And do we have anything else to talk about this week? We haven't talked about Wolverine at all. Do we care about Wolverine?
It looks better than the other X-Men movies, but it's not that great.
It looks better than the other Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not a big Hugh Jackman fan as the Wolverine role. I kind of feel like, Hugh Jackman is kind of
Wolverine's supposed to be like 5'2", 5'3".
It's not even that. I don't know. I think
that's your biggest problem with it.
Well, and also I keep expecting him to burst
into song. Yeah, that's my problem now too.
They just feel, all of the X-Men characters in all the movies feel like parodies of the characters. Like they just don't feel. They feel like they're too specific to the role. Where
they need gravitas.
They didn't adapt them enough to the movie world. They just made them so specifically like literally so Wolverine, literally so Cyclops. Whereas like when
they're almost like comic book characters.
What they did with the Avengers, they did a really good job of adapting those characters to the screen. Whereas I think they kept the X-Men characters so specific to the comics that they they didn't really blend with full motion cinema.
They didn't get a chance to grow and evolve. And
well, you literally have the chops and like the fucking like the wife beater and the cigar. I'm like, come on, dude! Like it's so literal that it just doesn't work for me. Like they need to make it like you got to make it your own thing. Like
I think
when you're the director,
you have to go camp, and they are not willing to go there.
It actually, honestly, I feel like those X-Men movies are very campy. That's the biggest problem I had with them. They just felt too campy.
So I just went back and I watched Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four, which was not released. We watched the trailer a couple weeks ago, and it was so much better than the Jessica Alba one.
Probably.
And that's not saying it was good.
I think Marvel's had some missteps, and they're finally now with this new kind of continuity. They're hitting their stride with these superhero movies.
Except the new Spider-Man.
Except the new Spider-Man. Yeah.
Why? That just happened. I don't care.
I'm so angry.
The skateboarding sequence.
Are you falling asleep, Brian Redban?
No.
Yes. He's lying to us.
No, I'm not.
You're lying to me.
No, I'm just hungover today.
Just hungover today. I had to make out with 21-year-old porn chicks. I want to say I went to the Comedy Store and crushed it on stage and made jokes, and then ladies put their boobies in my face.
I wish that's what happened. That'd be great.
Also, I have a puppy. It's really cute.
Yeah, can you introduce your dog to the Muff Said crowd?
Yeah, I guess.
This is the perfect crowd because your dog looks like an Ewok.
Yeah, this is Wiki.
Wow.
Wiki the dog, Ewok
This
dog.
camera makes that dog look a lot bigger than he actually is.
This dog's smaller than a house cat right now. It's an actual Ewok. It
really is.
He's the only living Ewok in existence.
Do you have any dog accessories with that? Like a little doggy backpack and.
I don't. But I was at the store the other day and they had one of those kind of things that babies, parents use, where it has the dog right up front. You could walk around. I almost wanted to get that just because.
You know that you've made a lifestyle choice, right? You're a demographic.
I know. I don't know if I can stomach all the cum that comes with this lifestyle choice.
I'm sorry, Eric Gradman. I took you to a dark place.
Conversational anomaly there. I didn't get that.
We started with yeast infections, and now we're with...
It's true.
Full circle on Muff Said. We've come full circle for a full episode of Muff Said.
And on that bombshell... Give Eric Gradman and 2-Bit Circus all of your money.
All of the money.
Yes.
All of the monies.
All of the money. We need it. We're doing good, but we still need your money.
Yeah, how many days do you have left on here?
We have 20... You have the magical powers of the internet over there.
You have 25 days to go.
So you basically have...
days to go. Hey, look at at that.
So you're doing good. You're
This, really by the way, what we're seeing right now is a screen
well.
that is very familiar to me. I'm hitting refresh like a motherfucker.
You don't have to. It's live, actually. You can just let it go.
Is it really?
Yeah. No, it's not as satisfying.
It's not. It isn't. It's F5. You can F5. Yeah. Or Shift R. Shift Command R if you're a real nerd, because that's a true refresh. Just saying.
Wait, what, huh?
Shift Command R is a true refresh.
Yeah, it clears your cache.
Clears your cache when you do it. You get a fresh version. A freshy
Look at this.
You know how to bring that screen up.
Right up in a reader.
Wow.
Wow.
That's what Shift Command R did for this page.
Donate to this Kickstarter because it is awesome. There is science and technology and science
lasers
and math
and
lasers and fire
fucking
and video
asteroids,
games
man. That's
and
what I'm
asteroids.
They let me wear a sparkle costume.
And stick around on that page because we're going to be posting more videos of the individual games. What you see in the video that we posted already is just a little
and
teasy weezy tease.
Yeah.
If people go to 2bitcircus.com, that's TWObitcircus.com, you guys have a bunch of events that are always coming up, so people should put them.
It's true.
Yeah, I know. People should be following you guys. They can follow you on the Twitter at 2bitcircus, at Steam Carnival, and you are.
I am at E Gradman.
Gradman.
EGRADMAN. Yeah.
No.
It's close. Yeah, you got it right. Yeah, you just missed the E. And I talk about very, very nerdy things.
But you're one of the better Twitterers over at 2-Bit Circus, I have to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't posted any bowel movements.
Yet. The night is still young, sir.
I don't post what I'm eating, even though I eat really weird things. I post really highly technical things, and then I retweet.
Did
stuff
you eat
that?
that? Did
Double
you
followed.
Read about the guy with the sludge, the scientific sludge that he was eating?
Yeah. See, okay. I mean, I could go on about this because I
You have 30 seconds. Go.
I eat paleo, which means I eat only mostly meat and vegetables and
like a
other
caveman.
stuff like that. I eat like a caveman.
We call it a Midwest diet. Really,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but I don't eat bread, stuff like that. Anybody who says they can live off of processed sludge is insane.
Yeah.
You will die of things we haven't even thought of yet. So don't do it.
Eat like a normal human being.
Broccoli.
Seriously.
How could you live without broccoli?
How can you live without meat? I'm going to get yelled at by a lot of vegetarians. My God, a fucking burger's good.
I don't have any vegan friends, and that's on purpose.
It's because you ate them.
Robot Pants, tell people what you're doing.
Man, every week I wish I could talk about the games I'm working on soon.
See,
Promise
not only are you the
soon.
sexiest man in video game development, you are the sexiest,
Harbinger,
most mysterious
I know,
man.
I'm a harbinger of secrets, but we're working on games and they're going to be cool, I promise. I specifically, one of them is going to be quite interesting to this crowd. Very soon, next couple months, I will divulge all of the information.
And I am at Ryan Keely, that's RyanKeely on the Twitter.
I'm at Robot Pants.
And you can also see me, I am writing and corresponding for therealstanley.com. And, there's something else. What is that other thing? There's another thing that I wanted to talk about. Brain, work. Oh, yes. Next week on the 16th, we're going to have Katie Darrell from Access Live coming on. So she'll be here. And rumor has it Derek Robertson, but as he is rescheduled twice. We'll see what happens.
The elusive Derek Robertson for our podcast.
And take us out of here, Redban.
Cool. Well, don't forget, Death Squad will be at Comic-Con 2013. Tickets are on sale right now, and we're going to be in a couple other places. But you can just go to deathsquad.tv for all the links, and that's Muff Said.
Muff Said.
Muff Said. I better be invited to Comic-Con.
Technologic.